It has been 5 years since I've done a Q&A, and I thought maybe it is time to do so now that I feel like I'm starting a really significant and fun chapter of my life with NEILA, exploring all of Australia. So thank you for your questions on Instagram, and I look forward so much to answering a few of them here. I think the best way for me to describe it is that it's easy, which is exactly what I was looking for. I was looking for finally a space where I could exhale and breathe and recover and regain some control of my life, because it was going to poo-poo. Everything seemed to be falling apart and it was so much resistance, and I just literally couldn't push anymore. So I felt like the universe actually wanted me to leave Iceland. The only place I could think to come back was a place that I understand. I know the culture, I know the language, I know how things operate here, and I needed the ease. I wanted my family close by so I could just really take this time to, it's hard to describe, but like, yeah, I lost myself. I was, I think, deeply unhappy to the core, and I was grasping at anything just to make things stick or give me joy without realizing, of course, that's an inside job, but sometimes your outer environment, if it's like really squishing you down, it's hard to concentrate on your internal world as well. So I needed a reset button and I needed comforts and I got that, and I feel very grateful to have had this opportunity. And then my goal of traveling Australia in a troopy also is happening, which kind of caught me off by surprise. I knew I was getting a troop carrier. I knew I always wanted to travel Australia, but when you're working on it actively to make this dream come true, it's crazy because it's a big commitment. So I'm excited for it. Maybe find some love as well. Who knows? Who knows what the universe has in store for me? I hope she rewards me, because it's so tiring. She used to be on my side, and then it felt like she was like, squish, squish, go to hell, Sorrel. And so I'm hoping that this decision to come to Australia was one that she's like, yes, and here are some rewards. Please, 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 please. Basically 3 years ago, looked at a 4-wheel-drive and I said, what is that car? That is so freaking sexy. So I randomly called up Toyota and I was like, hey Toyota, do you got one for me? And they said, yes, $2,000 deposit. You can get that refunded any time. So I said, heck yes, I'll take it. Without knowing the future repercussions of that decision. 18 months later, the car arrived, and that's precisely when I moved back from Iceland, and has shot me into this world of forward driving, which is hilarious, to be honest, because I am not your regular forward drive person. I'm not a forward drive bro. You're not gonna see me being like, wow, look at these tires, and look at this feature over here, and look at this feature over here. I'm like, wow, car goes places, pretty nature. Wow, car goes places. I get to cook outdoors in this beautiful location. Wow, car goes places. Holy shit, I get to sleep here on top of my car. That's me. I am an outdoor junkie, and this car just helps to facilitate that adventure. I'm really glad to be in this world because it almost feels like I should be in this space. It almost feels like a second skin, as if I'm just going back to my tomboy roots when I was into motorbikes and into cool cars, and just allowing myself the permission to go there instead of feeling like, oh, I'm a female, so maybe I shouldn't like these kind of things. No. I'm totally allowed to. So I feel very welcomed in this community, and it feels so great. I think that with me building the free human community, that I would have the ultimate answer to this, having thought about it basically nonstop for 4 years every single day and talking to a lot of people about this. I think I've concluded freedom is absolutely a state of mind. You can have everything in the world that you want and still feel trapped. You can have nothing and feel free. So it is, to me, a state of mind. No matter where you are, if you feel free, if you know you're free actually. Because I think there's a lie that we're not. And so we start seeing the world through a lens that we're not. But once you could decide, wait a minute, I always have been free, always will be free, it's my decision, then you can work on the internal state to help you see the world through that lens. And no one can ever take that away from you. Everything else can be taken away. That, your state of mind, never. So Viktor E. Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, he had some good points there. Anyway, time to get to work. We got some big things to be done to NEILA. Time to complete the sound deadening. Perfect. I might also add a sound barrier actually. Yeah, that's done. Pretty satisfying. Everything's in. Time to put the car together. Thank you for asking. I think I'm doing really well. I just sense that my brain is trying to catch up with the rest of me because there's nothing whatsoever that I can complain about. Really, my life is really, really good. At times it just feels like my brain's like still stuck in old mode. So I am just trying to recalibrate it actually right now, using different modalities to just get it out of that funk. But overall, there's a lot of joy and light and laughter coming back into my life. I'm starting to be inspired again to create. I don't know if you've noticed, but my videos, I'm having so much fun creating them and putting a lot of effort into it and, you know, building out NEILA. The inspiration trickling back in is one of the greatest joys that I have because I have the mental capacity and space to now explore different possibilities of creating something exciting for myself and creative. And for that I'm very thankful. I've had the luxury of staying at a lot of beautiful vans over the years, and I think one of the main differences is when it's yours. You have the appreciation for the vehicle and also you're calling the shots on how you want to decorate your house. You feel a lot of a stronger attachment, so let's just get that out of the way. I think normal vans, for a tiny house, if you're living closer to society and you want to integrate that way, I think that's the type of van that's perfect. Definitely a lot more of a comfortable space and a comfortable car. The pro is that this one goes anywhere. The con is that it's small. So you're maximizing space, but it's still very small. So you're crawling around in many, many places to get anywhere. And I think the parts to this car and accessorizing it and getting it roadworthy is a lot more expensive than other vehicles as well. And then you just make her as off-grid as possible. So ample power, huge fridge for lots of food storage, lots of water, double fuel tank. So it is the most robust off-grid tiny home that you can have. And the way that I am thinking about this is that it is my home, because it is my home. So living in it for at least a year, maybe more, we'll see how much I love this world. I feel an immense amount of freedom as well, knowing that I could go off grid for a week, 2, maybe even forever if I have the fishing rods and learn foraging as well. I had this really interesting experience the other day because the head can be quite a trickster, right? So I asked my body, how would it feel to live back in Iceland again? And it felt uncomfortable. And that was actually very surprising. And then I thought about living here and it felt really nice in my body. So I'm at this stage now where, of course, I have lots of thoughts about Iceland. It comes up all the time. There's not a day that goes by that I don't think about that country. In grief, sometimes your mind only focuses on the positives of that experience and longs for the things that you've lost instead of realizing how much you've also gained. So I'm trying to feel into where I should be at this stage, and my body is telling me like it's good that I released that space. So will I go back? Absolutely. Freaking am so excited to see that country from the perspective of beauty only, not having lived there, not having emotional attachments to different things that have happened there. I want to release all that and then go back, and with my new love of video and capturing beautiful things, that's the one thing I regret, is that I didn't have this inspiration spark to capture the beauty the way that I do now. And I just think I would have done Iceland a lot of justice if I filmed it from that perspective. So that's one thing I really regret, and I cannot wait to go back to film that And also I want to surf Iceland with my buddies because my buds surf there in the middle of winter. So I'm preparing myself for that. This is such a random question, but I love it. Yeah, it actually has gotten a lot easier to have fun. I think realizing how precious time is and the moments that we have, they're fleeting and they'll never return. It's like a mixed sadness. I know I sound so depressed. There's a mixed feeling of, God damn, this isn't gonna last forever. In every moment, as well as, oh my gosh, I better experience it fully and just like dive in. So yeah, having fun and letting myself be unproductive and just enjoying life has become a lot easier. But I'm excited also to release this part of me that's always thinking about the inevitable death. So that'll be fun too. But overall, definitely a lot more fun. I would look at really simplifying my cost of living as much as I possibly could. When you're young, you can sacrifice a lot of comforts. And there's this awesome, huge new world out there, which is van life, that is very popular. And a lot of people are choosing to do this at every age range because you realize that paying for rent is really expensive and living in one spot is actually really expensive because you start going shopping and buying things to keep up with the Joneses. So van life causes you to become a minimalist, experience the outdoors, decrease your rent, decrease your going out expenses. There's a lot of advantages to simplifying your life. So maybe it's not van life, but figuring out how you can minimize your living expenses as much as possible and minimalism at the same time, with the goal of buying time. How can you buy time so you can study, self-study, and figure out what you really want to do? At the same time, caveat, you want to make sure you have self-discipline, because this world could just swallow you up and you realize, I don't really have to do anything and my cost of living is taken care of. Like if you one day want to have big aspirations and goals, buying yourself time is meant to give you the space to create a beautiful life for yourself. For me, this is a two-part answer. And first, I'll just answer it for what it is. So right now, my income streams are mainly brand deals, actually. I decided to limit everything else that I was doing and focus on just video creation as I was going through a transition period. So brand deals is my main source, and I have some passive income as well from investments that I've purchased over the years. And back in the day, I was that person that started selling courses way before most people were on board courses and before every single person in the universe was selling courses. And sorry about that. I feel like I was the one that encouraged a lot of people to do that. My bad. Second of all, I just wanted to talk about this because I think everybody kind of understands now the different income sources you can have. I mean, you can look online and everybody will describe a gazillion different income sources. What I feel is behind this question is how on earth do I get these income sources? And what I've noticed is there is a difference in mindset from people that kind of just get it and that those that struggle to understand this concept. So the way that I've been brought up and the way that my mind literally works is that I see leverage in everything I do. So how can I make money by trading my skills, not trading my time? I don't do almost anything based on trading my time. I think that is not an efficient way of doing things. So my mind is thinking always of, I have all these skills and how do I increase the value of these skills so I can make the most amount or a comfortable amount of money with the current skill set that I have. So for me, it was obviously seeing the rise of the influencer and understanding leverage in that way of having numbers and essentially becoming just a TV channel that was selling media slots to brands. And that's pretty straightforward. And my skills lined up with it. I enjoy very much being in front of the camera, editing, photography, so that all aligned. So how can someone else have a free life like this? It's not really the income streams, it's more how can you create leverage and stop trading your time, because that is just highly inefficient way of living in my opinion. Day 3,456 of trying to understand the four-wheel drive world and the parts that you need to get for your car in order to make it the ultimate beast. And for someone that is brand new to this world, I gotta say it's a little bit overwhelming. So getting my head wrapped around all of this. And in this moment, I have to say, looking at cars makes me annoyed. So I'm hoping that answers will come through soon and there will be progress, but this is a very confusing world to get yourself into. Definitely a big learning curve, which I'm not sure I expected to have. Let's not make Sorel your relationship therapist. But having been in long-term relationships, whilst being a full-time nomad, I guess I have my 2 cents worth. Finding someone that is just aligned with your values. So it could either be someone that is okay for you to go off on your own for up to 4 months at a time, which in hindsight now I would never do that again because I think that's kind of boring. I want to share my experiences with my loved one. Then I just really do believe that there's a ton of others that would be keen on living an abnormal life with me. So either they're living a really cool life and I get to join in and add my spice to it, or they want to join my life and they add their spice to it. I just believe you can have both. But it comes down to what it is that you truly want and value in a relationship. Tak, troszeczkę mówię. Nie za dobrze, ale mówię. This is so interesting, actually. I would say that sometimes it can get lonely because not everybody lives this type of life. But that's pretty superficial because you can solve that problem pretty easily if you want to and just go to places that have community and people that think like you. But then sometimes I think the freedom community might also come with being too anti-establishment, which can be a problem in itself because people start living from a place of anger and fear of like, fuck the government, instead of I just want to create my own life and I'm going to do that from a place of joy. And that's way more magnetizing anyway to encourage others to join this type of life too. So just making sure that you don't cross over into the insane realm of just hating things in the system and all that. Huge thank you for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I appreciate you being here, and I do just want to actually say like thank you so much for sticking around, or brand new faces. It's so nice to have so many brand new faces on the channel too, ready to see my new adventures. I received a note the other day on my car windshield and it was the cutest thing ever. And to just know that I've had such an impact on a bunch of you and you stuck around for so long is truly meaningful to me. Sometimes when you're your worst enemy, you forget why on earth you do anything or why, if you're even good enough. So you guys have been really pivotal to me being like, wait, I do matter. I have a voice that can matter and can impact someone. So I just want to say thank you so much. And there's so many amazing things coming out in the future with NEILA and Australia and exploring the world. And just, there's almost things oozing out of me. So I'm excited for it. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for being here. Now it's time to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Squarespace, an all-in-one website platform for entrepreneurs to stand out and succeed online. Let's talk about the amazing features of Squarespace. Online store. Sell your products on an online store. Whether you sell physical, digital, or service products, Squarespace has the tools you need to start selling online. Appointments. Accept appointments on your Squarespace website. Offer online or in-person private sessions, workshops, and group classes. They provide everything you need to manage your schedule, accept secure payments, send automatic reminders, beautifully showcase your services, and more. Fluid Engine. With Fluid Engine, a next-generation website design system from Squarespace, it's never been easier for anyone to unlock unbreakable creativity. Start with the best-in-class website template and customize every design detail with reimagined drag-and-drop technology for desktop or mobile. Head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you are ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Sorel to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.